you have to evaluate the reason that this particular customer is calling you to move away from a Medicare supplement. Oscar, what could be the reason? You think they're having trouble at the doctor's office? No. What could be the reason?
It's usually cost.
It's cost. And so because, obviously, for a lot of us that especially if you've been in the business a while, or if a lot of us are not in the same financial situation as a senior on a fixed income where they know they're getting $900 every month and they've got to make that last the whole month, or getting $1,500, $900, and then they have a $400 or $500 pension, something like that. So you have to eliminate what you think is better from the equation, because your opinion shouldn't actually matter. What matters is and there's a reason that there's a penetration rate now, about 50% penetration rate, meaning that there's 50% of seniors are selecting Medicare Advantage plans. Or we're not quite there, but we're making our way up toward that. And we have to keep that in mind. And it's not about what your opinion is, it's about what's right for an individual. So if you've got someone who is paying now, because especially this year, we're going to start seeing these Medicare supplement premiums increase, and you've got your mind made up that a Medicare Advantage plan is not as good as a Medicare supplement for you, and that's perfectly fine. Everyone is entitled to what they want to be on, right? But if you have an individual who has a $300 a month Medicare supplement premium plus a prescription drug plan, $40 or $50 a month, and they're telling you that they want to make a change and they can no longer afford it, you have a responsibility to help them find something that will meet their needs. And so what I mean is that you have a conversation with them, and don't make it negative. Well, are you going to be okay getting referrals? Or, and I hear the way people that talk to people, and that's just not the right way. The way that you approach is to say, hey, look, I'm glad to talk to you about this, obviously. And you ask questions. That's what if you work in sales, you need to understand and learn how to ask questions. What's kind of, what's making you think that you want to make this change? And if it's like, well, I had a friend who said PPO is better. Well, let me explain, but a lot of times you're going to find out that financially I just can no longer afford it. Got too expensive. And putting pressure on someone and saying, no, you can afford it because it's the better option, isn't always the right move. The right move is figuring out what they can afford and helping them meet their needs and finding them the right option for their situation. And so it's always frustrating to me because as an agency owner, I hear it a lot, right? You hear agents saying, well, I wouldn't switch from that. Well, it's not your financial situation and it's not you, right? So after you've kind of figured out why, you start asking questions or start explaining to them, well, I do want to let you know that there's a couple of different ways that you can go if you do choose to go with a Medicare Advantage plan. The least expensive route is kind of almost going to feel almost like the opposite of what you've been doing. And I just want to, be open and honest about that. It's going to look different. And the way that it looks different is you've got a much smaller network. But because of that, what you're agreeing to is you go into this smaller network, but it's going to save you a significant amount of money, especially when it comes to monthly premium. Like this particular plan is a zero premium plan with lower copays when you go to the doctor and even a low copay when you go into the hospital. Of course, there's a maximum out of pocket that protects you from a worst case scenario, but it's actually a very strong plan. But I do want to let you know, you do have to stay inside of a smaller network. You have a primary care doctor that's going to have to give you referrals. And I want to be completely I like to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? There's going to be time where you call me and say, hey, I've been waiting on this referral and I haven't gotten it. Every once in a while that happens. And what's important is selecting a good primary care doctor. And then a lot of times the question is, well, is your doctor in the network? Yes, they are. Do you think they normally do a pretty good job of something like that? Like, do they normally do a good job? Oh, they're the best. Okay. Then it looks like they're in the network. I would verify with them, call them and get their opinion, ask them, hey, do you have a problem if I switch over to it, because sometimes they'll get that feedback from their doctor's office. So again, we want to give people all the information, but once given all the information, if it's their choice whether or not they want to switch from a Medicare supplement to an Advantage, not yours. You need to take your biases out of the picture and let this person do what's right for them.
So if you like this clip, do me a favor, click right up here so that way you can watch the full podcast. And then also click right up here for more content just like this.